we are not prepared for it. My character is brushing her teeth and barefoot. We're not going into battle. We're not on a mission. We are truly caught unawares in a sort of tragedy situation. And to see the way that people show their true colors and who they really turn out to be in trauma is interesting. You start out with a group of people that have like decided to be completely alone. And so their relationship with society, with the world at large, in any way is really extreme, in an extreme sense, cut off. And the idea that their bosses, you know, the company that runs all of this, you know, that they're even just their being there, have put them in harm's way in the sense that they've accessed sort of inaccessible places, that they've taken things that don't belong to them, that we've mined the bottom of the ocean, that we're digging for oil in a place of such mystery that what comes out is not necessarily just an emergency sort of natural disaster, but actually it's a repercussion. You know, at its core, that's also what the movie's about. I play somebody who, in the beginning of the film, to herself, seems to have nothing to lose, and therefore feels sort of strong, like she has this tough exterior that is reliable, and so she becomes like a bit of a leader. And then as the movie progresses and you understand that she's kind of in the midst of a grieving process, and the reason that she's self-isolated and spent her time at the bottom of the ocean doing a mechanical engineer job on an oil rig is because she isn't very happy or treating herself very well, and she's at a loss. And then when she realizes sort of a little bit too late that there's never a point as a human being that all is lost, and that there's nothing to fight for, that there's nothing to lose, and that she would do anything to make sure that the people that she's just met survive, she really kind of shows herself as a character. So it takes a minute, and she's always somebody that you're curious about, and she's always somebody that fights for it and works hard for other people, but then you sort of really realize at the end why she's the person we're looking at and it's not someone else. In the beginning, you wonder why she is this person. And so throughout the movie, as she gets to know the people that are also trying desperately to come out of this alive, and she realizes that there's really never a point in being human that there isn't something to fight for. There's a fervency that comes out like thunder. Like she really comes to a conclusion and like goes like, maybe I die here, but I will definitely not go down without a fight. And I know it sounds cliche, but like there's nothing like that last resurgence of energy before something is taken out that makes you feel more alive and more human, and that's something we are good at. And so yeah, that's kind of her journey. All of it was like a test. And I feel like there's no reason to do a movie unless it scares you. There's no reason to do anything unless there's something propelling you forward, there's a curiosity that's, I'm not curious about stuff I know about. I'm curious about stuff I don't know about. And so this was appropriately, unknowably uncomfortable. The idea of looking into utter darkness is not dissimilar to closing your eyes. You know what I mean? Like, we don't really know what's there, even though this feels like something tangible, or what's going to happen when we don't open them anymore. You know what I mean? Like, all of that. It's a movie that deals with people very much at possibly the end of their line. You know what I mean? Like, they're really facing death at every turn. So the sort of existential thought process, the weird conversations that might arise, you know, the strange things that occur to you, like, I mean, we should have had a scene about like the best veggie burger that he ever had in Texas. Do you know what I mean? Like something like, it's like the moment you think you're really gonna perish is like when everything visceral about being alive like floods back in. So that's kind of what I thought the movie was interesting. Like, that's why I thought it was interesting to make a survival movie about staring into utter blackness. So like, sure, I have like claustrophobia and all of that, but I also just have that base human instinct to wonder what happens when it's all over, whether or not that is something that is imminent and upon us or something that might happen when we're old. When she gets like slammed onto the godlight and you encounter an actual monster for the first time, there are things existing in nature that look monstrous. Like there are things that aren't surprising, but are genuinely terrifying and horrific. I think that there's such a sort of like striking, surprising thing about having something look like the things of our nightmares come out of the ocean, that it's the first taste of like really what we've tapped into. Like really like our punishment is really shoved in our faces in that moment in a really severe way. The choice that William made to put the camera inside the helmet and how masterfully it was done because of how hard that is to do on such a sort of high energy thing. You know, if you're moving around that much and there's like so many variables that are uncontrollable, that's really not easy to do. And it does add this, you know, really like the film's nerves are very close to the surface because you're not outside of that experience, you're very much inside of it. And I know that that's like a goal that a lot of filmmakers have with movies like this, but this one feels very much under the skin. I have to say, I think they really did kill that perspective. It feels too close. It feels like, please give us some breathing room, but there just isn't any room for that. A lot of stuff that we did was super practical. It was fun. It was like not hard to do the movie in terms of trying to fantasize and play pretend. It was hard to do the movie because it was scary and it was like genuine. They made a lot of these things happen. We blew a lot of stuff up.